Many hundreds of staff work and operate within Glasgow Central Station. I think the public would be very surprised to see, from the cleaners to the various customer services staff that we have that carry out an absolute amazing job in the station every single day, interacting with passengers, assisting elderly passengers, infirm and the rest. Glasgow Central Station itself is truly a varied and wonderful building. My role in Glasgow Central Station is as historian. I carry out daily tours of the station, taking passengers, taking individuals and groups to different areas in the station that have never been before. Central Station itself is like an iceberg. There are various different levels to the station, and the further down we go, the more interesting and intriguing I think it becomes for people.
We've got approximately 110,000 passengers come through Central each day, and that's coupled along with roughly about 1,300 train movements within Central. Right now, we basically get two parts to the job. Rather sit in the comms side, we are dealing with phone calls for, say, other stations that are passing on passenger assists, and also you're dealing with a signal box, so put through changes. Every train in Central has got a set platform, and we read it off this docker, but if there's any changes as such, maybe due to disruption or anything like that, the signal box will phone through and they'll give the change. We get the change and we'll pass it through to ScotRail. And also on this side we've got our boarding. So Jim here's just boarding away the trains, looking at his docker. Any changes that come through for the signal box, I'll need to tell him so he knows if there's a change he doesn't board it for its platform is meant to go through, but he's no missing the change. This is a passenger announcement. The 1442 ScotRail service to Paisley Canal. This service is departing the rear three coaches of platform 12. Everything kind of goes through us. Even if there's an ambulance been phoned, we need to speak to the ambulance services and pass on the relevant information.
I came into the railway in 1974 when it was obviously British Rail. I came in as a traffic trainee, and after my 2 years apprenticeship with British Rail, I became a guard for about 17 years, and I've been in Glasgow Central now for about 17 years as a Senior Resource Coordinator. My main job in the operations of a Senior Resource Coordinator in Glasgow Central is running the day-to-day business of running trains and maintaining staff levels of drivers being booking on in time, drivers getting their diagrams. I put them out the night before, make sure they're on the correct proper line of work. I have a great relationship with train crews, and there's a lot of characters out there that just makes my day and makes it worthwhile coming in for. And the laughs and the thrills and spills we have is just amazing. Based in this office for Glasgow Central alone, we've over near enough 250 staff. Can't be quite accurate on the amount, but we have drivers and we also have conductors in this depot. But we're also responsible for depots out with unsupervised depots, such as Shields Depot, Strivers Depot, Corker Hill, Ayr, Stranraer, Dumfries and Gourock. Well, we have the bananas, we have cereal bars, we have apples, we have oranges, and this is all nutrients for the drivers. They're booking on early in the morning just to keep their metabolism up with supplying them fruit in the morning. Fruit we put out on a daily basis for the members of train crews, for drivers and conductors. It's just a nutrient to get them through the day.
My job title is Station Grade A Dispatcher, so I dispatch the trains from the station. I've been overall about 3.5 years. I started off agency. I've been full-time with ScotRail for over 2 years now. Yeah, the purpose is to see the trains safely out of the station and the customers, travelling passengers on and off the trains safely. You want a baby? We have a procedure that we kind of stick to and talk ourselves through over at the course. We try and get on the platform a few minutes before the train, well, about 5 minutes before the train's due to leave, and go through your set-up routine, checking all the safety aspects. We close the doors 30 seconds before departure. It just gives the driver time to set himself up and make sure he's got all his final procedures correct and ready to leave as on the time of stated departure time. Yeah, individually it can vary between 40 and 50 trains a day on each shift. People just want to get home. They actually do disregard safety a lot of the times, and that's when you really have to be on the ball. People run for trains even as they're leaving the platform, which is both crazy and very dangerous. You know, loss of life has happened because of that.
My job in here in Central Station is basically, there's three things to the actual job. One is security based, where it's doing patrols around the station, monitoring, checking for any suspicious devices, any people trying to get into unsecured places that's in the station. The second duty is mobility assistance, where we help elderly, infirmed, or people that have got luggage or anything that they've got a lot of and they're struggling. That's what we'll do. We'll help them to get to their next train and everything. And the third one is actually customer service. You know, showing where the amenities are, i.e. the toilets, shops and everything, and even stuff outside the station, things to do when you're in Glasgow and everything.
Obviously you have to assess when people might have mobility issues and stuff like that. People with prams, buggies and stuff, you know, so you kind of try and give a wee bit of leeway. But if it's just, especially at rush hour, you know, if you delay departure, you're just giving yourself a bit of grief because there'll be more and more people coming. And as much as it might seem a wee bit harsh, but the reality is we've got a train to depart on that time. The consequences of that being late is a knock-on effect on other trains being late all over the country, believe it or not, just because a train was late a couple of minutes in one place.
You've just got to be patient. At the end of the day, some of these people, it's modern society, people might be on their phones or have got headphones in, and you've just got to be that extra patient and stuff. You know, everybody's trying to get home, everybody's trying to get somewhere and all that, understand that, and you've just got to have patience of a saying and reflexive of a Formula 1 driver sometimes, because literally people will jump in front of the buggy and everything. There's two moments that it's busiest in the station. One is usually in the morning, obviously with commuters coming in and everything, and then obviously the rush hour coming back. It's the two busiest time. The only other times it gets even more busier is when we've got events over at Hampden, or we've got events maybe at the SCC. I've worked for Network Rail for just over 2 years, and not one day's ever been the same. They're always going to have, sure, you have your characters in the station and everything, you've got your regulars and stuff like that, and that's great. But there's not one day's different. You always get something happening each day. It's not boring, that's for sure.
I know a lot of people have been in here, short time I've been in, a lot of people have been in all their life kind of thing, you know, but yeah, I've had a few. I was a support worker for 10 years, I worked with adults with learning difficulties. That was a very challenging and rewarding job at the same time. A lot of the qualities from that, you know, they come in handy in here. I was a footballer down south. I played football for 15 years. Started at Bradford City and went to Hull City in Rochdale, professional club. So I've still got a lot of good friends and good relations down there with a lot of people.
3 years ago now, we organised tours of the Central, and amazingly, the attention and interest for them has went through the roof. Currently, and for the past 3 years, we've been #1 on TripAdvisor for tours within the station itself, and I think we've really captured the imagination of the Glasgow audience and beyond. It illustrates to me what this building actually means to the people of this city.
You kind of get a sense of the greater picture. You know, once you're in here, obviously, if you've come for a train, all you want to do is go on that train and get away. But being in here working and seeing the environment, especially in Glasgow Central, it's huge. The operation that goes on to get that one train away. You know.
You find you work with a certain amount of people every day, but everybody seems to get on, so it's good. Yeah. We do our bit, I'd say, to make this place run a bit smoother. Yeah, definitely.
Glasgow Central Station is central to Glasgow itself. It's more than a railway station. It's a community. It's a community that work within here and the broader community of the people who use this station on a daily basis and have done for 130 odd years.